Have you ever stopped to wonder if the shadows in your room are truly empty, or if something or someone is staring back at you through a lens you can't see? Let me share with you the chilling account of Emily, a young woman who thought she had found the perfect apartment in the heart of a bustling city. It was one of those old brownstones, the kind with creaky floors and high ceilings that whispered secrets from decades past. Emily had just graduated college and landed her first real job as a graphic designer, so she was thrilled to finally have a place of her own. No more roommates, no more shared bathrooms, just her laptop, and a fresh start. But from the very first night, something felt off. She'd wake up with that prickling sensation on the back of her neck, like eyes were boring into her skin. She'd chalk it up to nerves, the adjustment to living alone. Little did she know, she wasn't alone at all. It started subtly. Emily would come home from work, exhausted, and flop onto her couch to binge-watch shows. One evening, as she scrolled through her phone, she noticed her reflection in the darkened TV screen seemed distorted. Not blurry, but almost like there was a faint glow behind it, a pinpoint of light that shouldn't be there. She laughed it off, probably just the street lamp filtering through the curtains. But the next morning, while brushing her teeth, she caught a glimpse in the bathroom mirror of something odd in the corner of the ceiling. A small black dot, no bigger than a dime, nestled where the wall met the molding. She stared at it for a moment, then shrugged. Maybe a smoke detector or some old wiring. The building was ancient after all. As days turned into weeks, the unease grew. Emily began having vivid dreams, nightmares, really, where she was performing mundane tasks like cooking dinner or changing clothes, but always with the sense of an audience. She'd jolt awake, heart pounding, and scan the room, finding nothing. Her friends teased her about it when she mentioned feeling watched. Paranoia from too much true crime podcasts, they'd say. But then came the first real sign. One afternoon, she was video calling her mom, showing off the apartment. Mid-conversation, her mom's face paled. "Honey, what's that behind you?" On the bookshelf. Emily turned, but saw nothing unusual. Later, reviewing the call recording, she zoomed in. There, tucked between her books, was a tiny device, its lens glinting ever so slightly in the light. Her blood ran cold. It was a camera. A hidden camera. Panic set in. Emily tore through the apartment like a whirlwind, checking every nook and cranny. She found 3 more, one in the living room clock, another disguised as a screw in the bedroom wall, and the worst one in the shower head, angled perfectly to capture her most private moments. Who had put them there? The previous tenant? The landlord. She called the police, her voice trembling as she explained. They came, removed the devices, and promised to investigate. But days passed with no updates. Emily couldn't sleep. Every shadow seemed to hide another lens. Every quiet moment felt exposed. She started covering mirrors, taping over outlets, but the dread lingered. Then, the messages began. Anonymous emails at first, with subject lines like, "You look beautiful when you sleep." Attached were screenshots, grainy images of her in her own home. Timestamps from nights she thought she was safe. Her stomach churned as she realized the cameras hadn't been the only ones. Someone had been hacking her webcam. 2. She changed passwords, bought covers for her devices, but it escalated. Texts from unknown numbers. "I love the way you dance alone in the kitchen." How did they know? She hadn't told anyone about her silly habit of grooving to music while making coffee. Emily's life unraveled. She stopped eating, barely left the apartment except for work, where she felt marginally safer under fluorescent lights and colleagues' eyes. But even there, paranoia crept in. Was that IT guy lingering too long at her desk? Did her boss's smile hide something sinister? One night, alone again, she heard a faint click from the vents. Heart racing, she grabbed a flashlight and peered inside. Nothing. But as she pulled back, her phone buzzed. A video file from an unknown sender. She shouldn't have opened it, but curiosity or terror won. It was footage of her, just moments ago, shining the light into the vent. Live. They were still watching. Desperation drove her to extremes. She rented a hotel room for a night, hoping for respite. But in the sterile quiet, her phone lit up again. Nice try, but I see you checked into room 412. How? She hadn't used her real name. That's when the pieces clicked. Her phone's camera front and back had been compromised too. She smashed it against the wall, screaming into the void. The police dismissed her as hysterical when she reported it without evidence. Friends distanced themselves, whispering about mental breakdowns. In a final bid for sanity, Emily moved out, crashing with a relative in the suburbs. The messages stopped for a while. Then, one evening, as she unpacked in her new temporary room, she found a small package slipped under the door. Inside, a USB drive labeled Memories. Plugging it in against her better judgment revealed hundreds of files. Videos of her life, not just in the apartment, but before. Clips from her college dorm, her parents' house during visits. Some dated back years. The watcher had been there all along, patient, invisible. The twist came when she recognized a face in one blurred background. Shot her ex-boyfriend from high school, the one who had moved away after they broke up. He was an IT specialist now, with access to networks, devices, lives. The police finally acted, arresting him. But as Emily tried to rebuild, she couldn't shake the question. How many others were out there, watching, waiting for their turn? And in the quiet of her new home, she still feels that prickle on her neck. Now, let's turn to the harrowing tale of Marcus. A single father who thought installing security cameras would protect his family, only to discover the real threat was the eyes behind the lens. Marcus lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. After a string of break-ins nearby, he decided to invest in a home security system. Top of the line, with hidden cameras inside and out, all linked to an app on his phone. Better safe than sorry, he told Lily as they watched the installers work. She was excited, thinking of it like a spy game. Marcus felt empowered, checking feeds during work breaks, ensuring everything was okay. The first anomaly was minor. One night, reviewing footage, Marcus noticed the living room camera had panned slightly on its own. The system was supposed to be static unless motion triggered. He reset it, blaming a glitch. But soon, other oddities piled up. Lights flickering in empty rooms captured on video. Doors creaking open, then shutting, with no one there. Marcus joked about ghosts to Lily, but inwardly, doubt gnawed at him. Then came the whispers. Faint audio in the recordings mumbled words, too low to discern. He'd play them back, earbuds in, straining to hear. Was it Daddy? Or something else? Lily started complaining of bad dreams, saying she heard someone calling her name at night. Marcus checked the cameras obsessively now, but they showed nothing amiss. Until one afternoon, while at work, he got an alert motion in Lily's room. He tuned in live. There she was, napping peacefully. But as he watched, the camera zoomed in on her face, unprompted. His commands. No, he hadn't touched the app. That evening, Marcus confronted the security company. They assured him it was impossible user-only controls. But doubt seeded deeper. He began noticing patterns in the footage. The cameras seemed to follow Lily more than him, lingering on her playtime, her bedtime routines. One clip showed her changing into pajamas, the angle too intimate, too deliberate. Horror struck. Was someone else accessing the feed? He changed passwords, updated firmware, even called in a tech expert. Clean bill of health. But the intrusions continued. Now, the app would open on its own, showing live views when his phone was locked. Once, in a meeting, his screen flashed to the bathroom camera just as he realized Lily was in there. He rushed home, heart in throat, but she was fine, oblivious. The breaking point came late one night. Marcus couldn't sleep, so he scrolled through old footage. In a clip from weeks ago, he saw a shadow in the corner of the frame, human-shaped, slipping out of view. Not a glitch, a person. Inside the house, he rewound frame by frame. The figure was installing something. Another camera. No, adjusting one. His blood froze. Someone had been in their home. Police were skeptical without clear evidence. But Marcus set a trap. He pretended to leave for a weekend trip with Lily, but hid in the attic, watching via a separate device. Hours ticked by in stifling darkness. Then movement. The back door eased open. A man entered, tall, hooded, familiar gait. He went straight to the control panel, typing codes like he owned the place. Marcus's mind raced the installer, the very man who'd set up the system. Confrontation erupted. The man fought back, but Marcus subdued him, calling 911. Interrogation revealed the truth. He was part of a ring selling access to home feeds on the dark web. Voyeurs paid top dollar for live shows, especially those involving children. Lily had been targeted. The twist. The installer wasn't alone. Marcus's neighbor, the friendly guy next door, was the ringleader. He'd recommended the company, all to expand their network. Marcus and Lily moved far away, but the scars remained. Every camera, every smart device. Now a potential betrayal. And in new homes, he wonders how many eyes are watching uninvited. Finally, the most unsettling story comes from Alex, a tech-savvy journalist who uncovered a web of hidden cameras that spanned an entire town, only to find himself ensnared in its threads. Alex worked for a small online news outlet, specializing in investigative pieces, when tips started flooding in about weird surveillance in public spaces. He dismissed them at first conspiracy fodder, but one anonymous email stood out. They're everywhere. Check the park benches. Intrigued, he visited the local park. Sure enough, disguised in bird feeders and lampposts were tiny cameras, lenses peeking out. Digging deeper, Alex found similar devices in coffee shops, libraries, even public restrooms. Not official CCTV, these were covert, wireless, transmitting to unknown servers. He traced the signals to a local company, Vigilize Security, touted as a community safety initiative. But why hidden? Posing as a potential client, he toured their offices. The CEO, a slick man named Harlan, boasted about proactive monitoring for crime prevention. Alex's instincts screamed foul play. Back home, he set up his own hidden recorder during a follow-up interview with Harlan. The man slipped. Knowledge is power, and we have eyes on everyone. Alex's story took shape by expose on illegal surveillance. But as he wrote, strange things happened. His computer webcam light flickered on randomly. Files rearranged themselves. Paranoia? Or something more? One night, reviewing his notes, Alex heard a soft hum from his vents. Investigating, he found a camera identical to those in town planted in his apartment. Someone knew he was onto them. He ripped it out, but more appeared in his car, his office drawer. Harlan's doing. Alex confronted him, recorder rolling. Harlan laughed. You think you're the hunter? We've been watching you for months. The footage Alex captured that day was damning Harlan, admitting to a network of thousands of cameras, feeding data to corporations for targeted ads, blackmail, even worse. But before publishing, Alex received a package DVDs labeled Your Life Director's Cut. Watching them, he saw his entire existence documented intimate moments with partners, arguments with family, even childhood home videos digitized somehow. How? The shocking revelation unfolded as Alex delved into Harlan's background. The man wasn't just a CEO. He was Alex's half-brother, abandoned by their father years ago. Jealousy had festered into obsession. Harlan had built the surveillance empire to track Alex specifically, expanding it town-wide as cover. The cameras weren't for profit, they were for control, revenge. Alex's story broke, leading to arrests, but Harlan vanished, leaving a final message. I'll always be watching. Now, Alex lives off-grid, but in every reflection, every dark corner, he senses the lens, and you. Next time you feel that chill, ask yourself, is it really just the wind?